You're questioning everything about your path. You find yourself asking questions you've never asked before. Is this still what I want? Am I on the right track? What if I've been doing this all wrong? You might even start doubting your choices that you made years ago that felt crystal clear at the time. And this questioning feels destabilizing. It makes you feel messed up, like you're lost, like you lost your compass. And the worst part, you can't logic your way out of it. The answers don't come easily. Like we want to think our way through it, but we can't think our way through it. And why this happens is questioning everything is actually the sign of expansion. Welcome to What If It All Goes Right, the show for high achievers who are ready to stop fearing the worst and start stepping into their power. I'm your host, Angela Gargano, 6-time American Ninja Warrior, keynote speaker, peak performance coach, and former biochemist. Every episode, I'm going to give you the mindset shifts and practical tools to shake off the doubt, reignite your energy, and remember just how powerful you really are. Because it's time to stop fearing the worst and start asking, what if it all goes right? What if it's already going right? Welcome back to What If It All Goes Right? I'm your host, Angela Gargano. This is my dog, Miss Pepper Girl, if you're watching on video. And I want to start off today by asking you a question. Have you ever been in a season where everything just felt hard? Like harder than it should be? Where you're questioning literally everything? Where old patterns aren't working anymore? Where you feel more emotional than usual? And you start wondering, am I falling apart? Am I failing? Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? If that's you right now, I need you to hear this. What if you're not breaking down? What if you're actually about to break through? And here's what most people don't tell you about transformation. It doesn't arrive with confetti and a big celebration. It doesn't show up on day one with a clear sign that says, congratulations, you are evolving. No, transformation shows up disguised as resistance, doubt, discomfort, and chaos. It feels like everything is going wrong when, in reality, everything is about to go right. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through the 5 undeniable signs that you're not falling apart. You're on the verge of a breakthrough. And more importantly, I'm going to help you understand the science behind why growth feels so much like breaking when it's actually the beginning of something powerful. Now, before we dive in, I want to ask you for a quick favor. If you've been enjoying this podcast, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you could take just 60 seconds to leave a rating and review, it helps this show reach more people who need this conversation and these conversations. I'd be so grateful. Please do it right now. Thanks. All right. Let's dive into the first of 5 signs that you're about to break through. Sign number 1, everything feels harder than usual. Tasks that used to feel easy now feel exhausting. Your morning routine feels like it's dragging on. The decisions you're making feel heavier. Things that you normally would glide through now require triple the effort. And you start questioning yourself. Why is this so hard? I used to be able to do this with my eyes closed. Now, why does this happen? Because when you're on the edge of a breakthrough, your brain is literally reorganizing itself. So neuroscience shows us that learning and growth require your brain to build new neural pathways. And that process is metabolically expensive. It's taking energy. It feels like friction. Your brain is working overtime behind the scenes, even when you're not consciously aware of it. Think of it like upgrading your phone. And when you're upgrading the phone operating system, my phone just upgraded itself last night, which is kind of annoying. While the update is running in the background, everything is moving a little bit slower, right? The apps are lagging and it feels a little glitchy. But once the update completes, you're running on a better system, even if it doesn't feel like it. That's what's happening in your brain right now. Now, the science behind this is research on neuroplasticity shows that when we're learning something new or shifting a deep ingrained pattern, our prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of our brain, has to work harder. That's why even simple tasks feel more draining. It's because your cognitive resources are being redirected toward building something new. Now, what's the reframe? When everything feels harder, it's not a sign that you're going backwards, even though it might feel like it. It's a sign your brain is leveling up, and the difficulty is proof of the work happening beneath the surface. And how powerful is this? Because you might be sitting there again, beating yourself up over all this, but it's really just your brain working overtime to rewire these patterns and to break through and become this next level version of yourself, this upgraded, what I like to tell my clients, this upgraded 2.0 version of yourself. Or if you're at 1.0, you're going to 1.1 first. Now, sign number 2, you're questioning everything about your path. You find yourself asking questions you've never asked before. Is this still what I want? Am I on the right track? What if I've been doing this all wrong? You might even start doubting your choices that you made years ago that felt crystal clear at the time. And this questioning feels destabilizing. It makes you feel messed up, like you're lost, like you lost your compass. And the worst part, you can't logically your way out of it. The answers don't come easily. Like we want to think our way through it, but we can't think our way through it. And why this happens is questioning everything is actually the sign of expansion. When you're about to break through to a new level, your old frameworks, your old thought patterns, they don't fit anymore. And your identity is shifting. And that shift requires you to reassess what's true for you now versus what was true for you before. And psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. The discomfort that arises when your beliefs and your reality don't align. But here's the key. Dissonance is the precursor to clarity. You can't evolve into this next version of yourself without first questioning the old one. This is an important part of the process. You got to ask yourself questions about it. Is this truly what I still want? Have I ever actually wanted this? Now, the science is that studies on identity development show that periods of questioning, what researchers call moratorium phases, are actually necessary for growth. People who never question their path often stay stuck in these outdated identities. And the questioning isn't a crisis, it's a crossroad. So how do we reframe this? When you're questioning everything, it doesn't mean you are lost. It means you are outgrowing an old version of yourself. And the new one is still forming. Questioning is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. Who you are becoming. It's good to question things. It's good to ask yourself, is this actually where I want to be right now? And through all the evolutions that I've had, especially when I went from doing fitness and going all in on keynote speaking, and I'm still doing fitness as a piece of it, but I had to start questioning, like, is this who I am anymore? Or have I evolved from this? Have I evolved and realized this is something bigger? So something like that might be happening for you. Number 3, the old coping mechanisms stop working. So things that used to help you manage stress suddenly do not work anymore. And maybe you used to scroll social media to unwind, but now it just makes you feel worse. Maybe you used to push through exhaustion, but now your body is demanding that you rest. I have a lot of women coming to me saying this. They're like, I just feel like I need to rest. Yes, because you probably do. And maybe you used to avoid difficult emotions, but now they're demanding to be felt. They're being boiled up and coming up. You feel like you're losing grip on the tools that kept you functional before. And that's really terrifying, right? Because that is what you're used to. So why is this happening? Your old coping mechanisms were built for an old version of you. And they served you in a season when your capacity, your needs, and your identity were different. But now that you're evolving, those mechanisms don't match who you are becoming. And when a coping mechanism stops working, it's not because you're broken. It's because you are ready for something better. Your soul is saying, this isn't serving you anymore. And it is time. It is time for an upgrade. The science behind this is behavioral psychology shows that humans rely on coping strategies to manage stress and regulate emotions. But here's what's happening during growth. Strategies that once worked can stop being effective when we evolve or our circumstances change. What helped you survive one season might not serve you in the next. The breakdown of old strategies isn't a sign that you are failing. It's a sign that you are being called to develop new and more aligned ones. I know it's not comfortable. Growth isn't supposed to be comfortable, right? So how do we reframe this? When your old tools stop working, it's not just a sign you are regressing. It's a sign you're being called to build new tools that match the woman you are becoming. What a reframe, right? When you can say that and question yourself and say, hey, actually, no, wait, hold on, brain. This is actually tools that are helping me up level. And having conversations with yourself is important. Now, sign number 4, you feel resistance to things that used to be easy. I hear this from a lot of the women that I support and coach. So maybe you find yourself avoiding tasks that used to seem like second nature, and maybe you're a writer and suddenly you can't sit down and write. Maybe you're a people pleaser and suddenly you can't force yourself to say yes to things that drain you. Maybe you used to thrive in hustle mode, but now your body shuts down when you try to push. I've been there, trust me. I used to be a full-on hustler. Now I got to give myself some extra rest, but it's actually helping me perform better because I'm up-leveling. The resistance feels heavy and it almost feels like self-sabotage. And you start to wondering, why can't I just do things? Why can't I just do the thing? So why is this happening? It's because not all resistance is the same. Sometimes resistance is your subconscious protecting you from something that no longer aligns. It's your internal compass saying this path does not fit you anymore. So if you're resisting people pleasing, that is growth. If you're resisting the hustle mode that burns you out, that is wisdom. That kind of resistance is redirecting you towards something better. But there's another kind of resistance, the kind that shows up when you're about to step into something new. And this resistance feels scary because it is unfamiliar. Your nervous system doesn't like change, so it creates friction to keep you the same. But the key is learning to tell the difference between where this resistance is coming from. Resistance that protects you feels like relief when you stop. Like saying no to draining commitments that you used to say yes to. Resistance that blocks your growth feels like regret when you stop, like avoiding the new project that excites and scares you. So how do we reframe this? How do we shift this? When you feel resistance, pause and ask, is this protecting me from something that no longer serves me? Or is this my fear trying to keep me small? And one kind of resistance deserves to be honored. The other kind deserves to be pushed through. So learning the difference between those two is super important, right? Because I know for me, there's been areas and times I'm like, why am I resisting this? Why am I doing this? It's like, wait, because you're scared of the person that you're going to become after this. You're scared of the person that then is going to have to show up as that person and have to be an up-leveled version of yourself. It happens to all of us. Now, sign 5, you're more emotional or sensitive than normal. You cry more easily, small things set you off. You feel raw, exposed, like your skin is thinner. You might feel embarrassed by how emotional that you've become, wondering why am I like this right now? You feel like you're falling apart at the seams when in reality, you're just more open than usual. So why does this happen? When you're on the edge of a breakthrough, your nervous system is in a heightened state. You're processing more emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. During periods of growth, your nervous system is literally recalibrating, adjusting to new patterns, new beliefs, new ways of being. That recalibration shows up as heightened emotions. And here's what most people don't realize. This is temporary. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's proof that change is happening. The emotions aren't a sign of weakness. They're a sign of depth. And you're not losing control. You're gaining access to parts of yourself that have been locked away. And you're feeling everything because you're finally becoming available to transformation. You're finally becoming available to this growth. So what's the reframe? When you feel more emotional than usual, it's not because you're fragile. It's because you're awake. You're living. You're breathing. You're human. You're human. Now, let's talk about the science of transformation. Like, why does growth feel like breaking? Like, why does growth have to, what I always like to say in my keynotes is like, why does growth hurt? Like, why does it have to hurt? So I want to zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture, right? Because transformation is inherently uncomfortable. And there's a reason for that. It's because it requires you to let go of the old before the new has fully been built. You're in the process of building this new identity. And that building phase, it's disorienting by design. The old version doesn't fit anymore, but the new version isn't automatic yet. You're actively constructing it through every choice that you make. And here's what I've noticed about breakthroughs. They never happen in a straight line, right? For something that disrupts you, first, something disrupts you. The old way stops working. Then comes this disorientation where you question everything. But if you stay in it, you hit discovery and new possibilities start to emerge. And eventually, integration. The new way becomes a part of your new normal. Now, most people give up during this disorientation phase because it feels like failure. But that phase isn't failure. It's the fertile ground where breakthroughs are born. Now, here's what's happening in your brain during all of this. Your brain is designed to resist change because change requires energy. But when you push through the discomfort and you keep showing up, your brain builds new neural pathways that make the new behavior easier overall and over time. The first rep is always the hardest. By the 100th rep, it starts to feel natural. And here's the other piece. There's a concept called eustress, positive stress. That explains why challenge is necessary for growth. Because just like your muscles need resistance to grow stronger, your mind needs challenge to expand. The stress of the transformation isn't proof that you're failing. It's proof that you are growing. So just like we talk about with fitness, right? When you are working out, you're technically tearing the muscles and causing stress, but then you eat protein and then that muscle starts to develop, right? So it's like that initial stress piece is important for you to grow. But I want to bring this full circle. If you've been feeling like things are falling and like you're failing and things are falling apart, there's a very real chance that you're actually falling into place. And let's go through the 5 signs again that you're about to actually break through. And ask yourself, which one of these maybe resonate with me right now if you're in it? Sign 1, everything feels harder than usual. Means your brain is reorganizing. Sign 2, you're questioning everything. You're outgrowing an old identity. Sign 3, old coping mechanisms stop working. Means your old tools don't fit your new self. Sign 4, you feel resistance to things that used to be easy. Resistance is redirecting you, not blocking you. And sign 5, you're more emotional than normal, and that's because your nervous system is recalibrating. Breakthroughs don't arrive with trumpets and confetti and all the things like we talked about, right? They show up in disguise as resistance, as doubt, as discomfort, and emotional rawness. And most women and most high achievers in general who've stepped into their next level feel exactly what you're feeling right now. So instead of asking, why is this so hard? Start asking yourself, what if this is the breakdown before the breakthrough? Because when you shift that question, everything changes. Now, if this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who's in a hard season right now and hit that subscribe button. Leave a review, please. If it helps more people find these conversations, it's going to be a game changer for them. Because when you stop seeing struggle as failure and start seeing it as transformation, you start to ask yourself, what if it all goes right? What if it's already going right? I'll see you next time.